Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel, and I want to first start off with saying I'm not a YouTuber, right? I don't do any kind of videos typically, but I have been researching mid-range gaming laptop, and I was between two laptops, right? The A16 from Asus, right, and then the F15 again from Asus as well. They both have pretty good specs for the price range. I managed to land both of those laptops at like, less than half the price, which is why I have two. I'm gonna sell one to my friend anyway, so you guys probably don't care about that. But anyways, so that one has 8 gigabytes of RAM for the video card, the RTX4060, right? Well, this one has a 7700S, rx7700s from AMD. I was going to say ATI back in the day. This also has a AMD CPU. Well, this one has a Intel. It's Intel 13 Gen, right? And you can see the model on there, so you can look it up. This one does have twice the more RAM as this one. As I had upgraded this one. This is the computer I had first, and I got this one just yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to upgrade the RAM yet. They're both RAMs are running at the same speed for the most part, right? So we're gonna do a little benchmark. I'm not gonna go too deep into benchmarks. You guys, I'm sure I could probably look up the benchmarks online here, but it's nice to have a side-by-side comparison though, as I really didn't see a whole lot of information on this laptop here, so I myself am looking forward to it. Now the resolutions are very different. Okay, this is 1080, right? 1920 by 1080 resolution, beautiful screen with a 144 hertz refresh screen, while the I'm sorry, while the AMD version over here has a 1920 by 1200. Not really sure why they went with the 1200. Kind of an odd choice. But anyways, we'll start out with a couple of basic benchmarks here. I'll try to start them at the same time here, so I'm gonna have to put my phone down here. So give me a second. All right, guys. So I clicked on it more or less at the same time. Now, while this one does have 32 gigabytes of RAM, right, you can say it has an advantage, but I did upgrade this I did upgrade the solid state drive on this one. It had a Micron 500 gigabyte. I thought it was slow as hell, right? So I upgraded to a 4 terabyte Samsung 990, and honestly, it makes a big difference. That load time there, was not the case when they had the Micron. The Micron just took forever. This is running the original 1 terabyte that it comes with. And I mean, you can tell, I mean, just upgrading the solid state, how big of a difference that actually made. I'm actually quite surprised. I wish I could pause this so I give this one time to catch up. Now, this has nothing to do with CPU speed, right? Or even how much RAM it is. I think, in my opinion, it has more to do with the fact that this has an upgraded solid state, which made a big difference. I mean, it's running pretty solid. There you go. There's the other one. We're averaging about 22, 23 frames per second, right? While the NVIDIA one. Now, this has an RTX. Ain't doing so bad either. It's averaging about 21, right? So not a big difference. It's about 22. Only about a frame or two difference between the two, quite honestly. Personally, I'm a little disappointed because I gave this one up for this one, and this one's more power efficient. That's one thing I want to know, guys. The power efficiency between the two drastically different. Drastically different. I found that this one, the battery, even when gaming, lasts forever. I mean, they weren't joking when they were talking about how you could probably game for a couple hours on this one. Now, the graphics card has different levels of performance, right? You have it when it's on battery mode, right? And then when it's on when it's plugged in to the block, right? And it does make a huge difference between the two. And this has the boost too, so it can go from 100 watt to no, I'm sorry, 115 watts, all the way up to 140 watts performance wise. Anyways, this like two benchmarks from Nomad, right? Oh, Steel Nomad, right? Whatever the benchmark test is called, right? It's not a huge difference between the two. I mean, 2160, 22. Personally, I'm a little disappointed. Again, I'm giving up this one for this one, right? And I'm finding that this is so far it's starting to be a better deal. So I might, who knows, try to convince my friend to um, take this one. And then of course, we'll do ray tracing, right? I'll see if I can start at the same time. I'm gonna have to put my phone down. Now, this is running at a slightly higher resolution, so take that into consideration too. Ray tracing is obviously significantly better in the RTX and than AMD. AMD is not really known for doing ray tracing very well, apparently. But let me put the phone down so I can run it at the same time. All right, guys. So I just ran it here again. I'm an amateur when it comes to this. I'm doing this from my phone. Doing this on my bed. As a matter of fact, I got a wood in here because this laptops do tend to get super hot. So keep that in mind. The other major difference that I did as well, don't know if it has a huge difference in, I don't know if it adds or removes performance, right? But on this one here, I downgraded it to Windows 10, right? I'm not a fan of Windows 11. I was gonna do the same thing for this one, but this one's a little bit more trickier to do because it's a little harder to find a chipset for the NVMe for you to actually get Windows 10 installed. I found a way to do it, and I was gonna do it, but then I got a hold of this one, and so this one, honestly, I was just gonna leave it at 11 because I read somewhere that 11 with the new generation Intel, they tend to work better. And again, this being faster than this, again, that solid state really does make a huge difference, right? But at the very least, we'll be able to see both computers here running at the same time here. I might do for some reason this one loaded quicker. Again, I guess it must be the RAM that helped out that time. Well, who knows? Maybe it's the CPU. So this one's averaging 25. This one's averaging 22. So the faster GPU is struggling with ray tracing. Honestly, this screen looks amazing. Actually, look at that. I don't know if you can tell from the video. I have a fisheye 0.5 zoom so I can get both laptops in. Right, but that looks amazing. That looks way better than this one. God, I don't know. I'm trying to regret my decisions now. So I'll probably do one more test after this, right? Let me see. Yeah, averaging 20 now, averaging 24, 23. So this guy is performing slightly better than the rtx4060 is performing better than the 7700, and it finished quicker too. So yeah, I was right. So I was averaging about 24, averaging 20. Jesus Christ, not a huge difference, obviously, but this is a very intensive benchmark, so take that into consideration. And by the way, running both computers definitely made the room a lot hotter. I don't know if there's a way to run. I don't know if there's a way to run this in a higher resolution. Let's look at CPU performance. I'm sure you guys would be interested in that. I gotta put the phone down again here, guys, so give me a second. For some reason, CPU profile is loaded on this one, but CPU profile, for some reason, I don't think it's gonna work for this laptop. That is strange, but not available. I wonder why that is. I mean, there's nothing here that would indicate otherwise. Not available. That doesn't make any sense. Why is it available over here? I'll see if I can run a benchmark. Maybe at 1440. No ray tracing, just brute force. I don't. This should let me run it at a higher resolution, despite. There you go. I'll go custom run, and I will do not 4K. I want to do 1440p. It's obviously going to do 1440p on a 1080, but the it should give us comparable results as if we were to plug it into a 1440p monitor. Yep, I'll change it to 14p, right? I should have just realized I could just pause this video. Hold on, let me pause it and then I'll start it back up again. Alright, I'm back. That's way better than putting the phone down. So running at 1440 resolution, right? On screens are not compatible, obviously, but it won't change the fact that it is still going to run at a 1440 resolution. So far, I am really impressed with the rtx4060. Hands down, I think so far, just basing this benchmark here so far of what I've seen, I think the RTX 4060 is a better deal than the rx7700. It is a bigger screen also, 16 inch versus 15, higher resolution, right? So, you know, there's that as well, right? The keyboard layout, this one started, that extra RAM really does make a big difference, but the faster solid state doesn't fall too far behind. I'm curious to see what this will look like, because the rx7700 is known more for being a powerhouse, averaging about 46, 40, 44, averaging the same 40. Oh, this one dropped, but just by a couple of frames. I'm not seeing a huge difference between the two guys. The fans are starting to kick on, and I'm really starting to feel the heat. Virtually no difference between the two. 43 versus 42. Not even a whole frame. I mean, this is 43.20 and this is 42.88. At this point, I'm even wondering what's even the point of having this laptop other than the bigger screen. Jesus. That really does make a huge difference. And for some reason, this is marking like this has different monitoring software for some reason. All right. Well, this one doesn't. Only has the frame rate, which is weird. Again, running the 7700s rtx4060. So far, bang for the value, right? Even though it's a smaller screen, it's this guy. You can still fit 2 NVMe's on this one. You can fit 2 NVMe's on this one. Better battery life on it, significantly better battery life, and overall way better performance.